We have breaking news. A brand new stimulus bill was just signed into law that'll give certain people up to $10,000 each. What am I talking about? The EIDL, otherwise known as the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. If you are self-employed, are an independent contractor, are a gig worker, a freelancer, or own a business or have a side hustle of any sort, I'm going to show you how you can probably be eligible for a grant of $1,000 to up to $10,000 as a result of the EIDL program. And yes, this is real. Over 750,000 businesses have received EIDL grants of around $4,300 on average each. And if you qualify, which you probably do if you have a side hustle or own a business, I want you to be one of those people that receives a grant of the EIDL. In this video, I'm going to show you how to apply, where to apply, when to apply, what to expect, and everything you need to know about the EIDL program. And my name is Kevin Conway. I'm an attorney from California, and I make personal finance videos and stimulus news update videos all the time. And as you likely are aware, things change rapidly, and there are brand new programs all the time that get rolled out, so be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay informed with the latest news. Now with that, I'd appreciate if you just gave this video a quick like and let me know in the comments below what you think of the stimulus bills thus far. Now let's get right into it. So what's the deal here? Well, the EIDL program is administered through the government agency known as the Small Business Administration, and the EIDL is not actually anything new, but historically it's been used to give certain businesses low interest loans that have been affected by disasters like hurricanes or floods. But in March, everything changed. Now the EIDL is completely different. How so? Well, first off, the CARES Act greatly expanded who now is eligible for an EIDL loan. And Congress authorized to give $10,000 advances on any EIDL loan received from the applicant. So what does that mean? The first $10,000 of any EIDL loan is completely forgivable. That is, it is completely free money to you. I'm going to go into the details on that a little bit later, but just take away the fact that it really is a grant, a forgivable loan, a completely forgivable loan that you can receive up to $10,000 completely free to you. But isn't this just for disasters? Well, funny you should ask that, because in March, President Trump signed into law a declaration that said basically this whole country is a disaster now because of the pandemic, and therefore anyone is eligible for a disaster loan if they meet the other criteria. But you may be asking yourself, what's the deal here? Free money? I mean, how could that possibly be true? Well, it is true, and a lot of people took advantage of this right away. It was taken on a first come, first served basis, and it was completely inundated with applications. People got their funds, and a lot of people did not, and therefore the program was completely exhausted, and since then no one has been able to get an additional EIDL loan. That is, until right now, when the government has reauthorized additional funding for the EIDL program. This week is going to be the week that additional people can now start getting their applications rolling again. So how do you actually apply for this? Well, the application process is actually pretty simple, and I'll have a link in my pinned comment in this video directing you exactly where to go on the SBA's website to apply for this program, but it really involves just filling out the application with basic information about you and your business. As of right now, the link is not live, but I expect it to be within the next 24 to 48 hours. So likely, if you're watching this video in the future, it's going to be live, and therefore you could follow the link in my pinned comment. Until then, I will be checking every single hour to make sure that the link is not live, and as soon as it is, I'm going to update it in my pinned comment. So be sure to stick around and check the video again for that direct link to the SBA's website. So how much of this forgivable loan are you eligible to receive? Well, they put out guidance, and it basically says you get $1,000 for every employee that you have. So if you're self-employed, that's $1,000 that you can get. If you and your spouse have a business together, that's $2,000. If you and your spouse employ a couple people, it's $2,000 plus however many people you employ, up to $10,000 of forgivable loan. And to be clear, you can apply for additional funds with the EIDL. You can actually apply for up to $2 million of loan, but you're going to have to pay back most of that. You're only eligible to get the forgivable portion equivalent to how many employees you have times $1,000 up to $10,000. So if you take out $250,000 of loan, you're only able to get $10,000 written off and not having to be repaid if you have 10 employees, for example. But these loans themselves are not that bad of a deal. They come with an interest rate that is pretty competitive at 3.75%, but this is not really what the key thing of this bill is. This is not what I get excited about. I get excited about the free money that you can get. And so the bottom line is you can get that advance of up to $10,000 per employee, and you do not need to actually get the full loan later on. Later, you're going to be asked if you want a loan from the SBA. You could just say no. And in fact, you don't even need to be fully approved for the full loan later on in order to get that $10,000 of free money. And there are no other fees and really no other catches. You don't go through any banks in order to get the EIDL like the PPP program. You actually go directly to the SBA itself. And so, like I said previously, the EIDL program was zapped up within a matter of 2 weeks. I highly anticipate that as soon as the funds become actually available at the SBA, which should be any moment now, that the EIDL program will again get exhausted incredibly quickly. So you're going to want to go as soon as you possibly can to fill out your application at the SBA because they give them out on a first come, first served basis. And as soon as it's gone, it is gone. Now let's go into the details of who exactly is eligible for an EIDL grant. First off, you must have been affected by the pandemic in some way. Your revenues or business or ability to generate business in some manner must have been negatively affected. And because this is a global pandemic and that is a pretty vague bar to hit, I anticipate that most businesses out there probably will suffer in some way and therefore be able to meet this criteria. Secondly, you must not be doing anything illegal, which they put that in the application, but I mean, who would admit they're doing something illegal when they're applying to the government for a loan? I don't really understand that, but you can't be doing anything illegal. You cannot actually make more than 1/3 of your income from gambling, and you can't be involved in any, let's put it, lewd behavior in your business. Also, you must not be delinquent on your child support applications, and your business must have less than 500 employees. In order to get this advance of up to $10,000, it's pretty simple. All you need to do is check a box on the application saying, I would like to be considered for the grant of up to $10,000. That's it. It will run your credit, but it is very unlikely you're going to be denied for that alone. So what can this grant be used for? Well, it's pretty broad. It can be used for any of your business obligations, working capital, payroll, rent, utilities, mortgage expenses, any of those things that have been impacted by the pandemic. You can use this grant to satisfy some of those obligations. There are certain things you're not allowed to use this money for, and that really boils down to basically you shouldn't be able to make additional profits above and beyond what you normally would have as a result of this grant. So you can't really just pay yourself additional profits as a result of this grant alone, but you can use it to satisfy some of your business obligations. The goal here is really to help those that have been affected by the pandemic and bring them back up to where they would have been otherwise. And again, you don't have to pay this money back, even if you are denied for the loan later on. This money is yours. As soon as it hits your bank account, you can consider it yours, as long as you take the precautions and steps outlined in the application, which again are pretty broad, pretty low bar to hit for you to get that free money. So how does this compare to the PPP loan program that you may have heard before? Well, here's how. Number one, the EIDL program is something that you apply for directly at the SBA versus the PPP program, which you apply through a bank in order to get those monies. Additionally, the EIDL only allows forgivable portions of the loan up to $10,000, whereas the PPP is much, much greater. You can actually get all of the PPP forgiven, and the EIDL loan that you can actually receive if you want to go for the actual loan itself is up to $2 million versus the PPP, which is up to $10 million. But the EIDL allows a lot of flexibility in how you can use that money, again, for business obligations, for working capital, those sorts of things, whereas the PPP program, you only can use that for payroll, rent, and utilities. So what happens if you've already applied for the EIDL loan program and you haven't received anything other than an application number? That actually happened to my brother, who's a photographer and actually has a side business that he uses to generate money on the side with his photography equipment. He applied for this program, but all he got was a number and not the money. So what are you supposed to do then? Nothing at all. You're in the line, you're in the queue, you're in the position to get the money. And remember, it's a first come, first serve thing. And now that Congress has reauthorized additional funding for this program, you're in a good position because you already have an application number, which means you're going to get the money before somebody who hasn't applied for the program yet. And really, it's as simple as that. The application probably will take you 10 or 15 minutes, and to think that if you have a side hustle, you can get $1,000 just for filling out an application, that's pretty great. And here's the thing, you don't actually need to be profitable with your side hustle. You can make $1 as long as you had a business that was in business before January 31st of this year. You are eligible under this EIDL program, assuming you meet those other criteria as well. I know these programs be kind of weird because they're called loans, but they're treated as grants. And so if you have any questions about any of this whatsoever, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to respond to all the questions that I get here. And I also want to be clear, this has nothing to do with your stimulus check. If you received a stimulus check, it doesn't matter if you get a stimulus check and the EIDL grant. The stimulus check is totally separate. But when it comes to unemployment, it likely is the case that you can't get both unemployment and the EIDL, simply because the EIDL is to support your ongoing business, and unemployment means that you don't have a business anymore. But again, that's my opinion. Your state may think differently. That's just what I would suspect. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this stimulus program and the other ones as well. Be sure to check out my other videos if you want to know more about all of the stimulus bill constituent parts. Let me know if you have any questions, and be sure to give a like to this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest news. Now, I hope you stay healthy and stay safe. I'll see you next time.